Hi everyone, this is Trevor Pott, and today we're going to take a look at managing users and devices in Office 365. The first and most obvious place to manage your users is in the Users and Groups sections in the Office 365 Admin Center. To get at the Office 365 properties, which are sort of the general user properties for the user, click on the individual username. Here you can go through and set things like name, last name, and so forth, as well as all of the additional details. Of special note is the Office phone number, as this will be used for the link-to-phone communications for unified messaging. Under Settings, you have the roles, whether or not your user can access services, location, the licenses that are assigned to the user, and under More is merely where you can go to get at the exchange and link properties for the individual user. Going back to the Office 365 Admin Center, those same link and exchange properties can be accessed directly from here, simply by ticking the checkbox for the individual user. Under Security Groups, if you have any mail-enabled distribution groups or security groups, this would be where you would do your administration. Delegated admins are the administrators from other companies that can come in and administer your setup, typically used for partner scenarios. Under Service Settings, we have User Software, and here you can choose what software that your users get to download, or you can download the installers, which you can push out through things like Active Directory to your users. Community lets you set whether or not your users can connect to the Office 365 forums and community using their Office accounts. For example, you might not want your staff posting all over the internet using their corporate account. Rights Management manages Azure Active Directory, which gives you the ability to control what kinds of documents get shared and when. Mobile is where you'll find the BlackBerry setup, assuming that you have BlackBerries, and the ability to go through and manage not only the users but the devices through there. Reports is another interesting part of user management, as of course going through any of these various different reports gives you an overview of your users' activities in aggregate. Moving over to link administration, under the individual users, you can individually edit properties for that user, which is another way of getting at those link properties that we saw from the Office 365 administration panel, or you can select multiple users here and make bulk edits to that user or group of users. Under organization, under general, you can configure your presence privacy mode, as well as mobile phone notifications. Your presence privacy mode determines whether or not you're going to display presence within your organization. This affects all users. Mobile phone notifications are very much the same thing. How are you going to alert the mobile phone applications for Link, and is it going to be a push notification? Federation is another aspect of user configuration. Are your individual users going to be allowed to connect to other networks? If this isn't enabled at a global level here, you cannot enable it at the individual level within the Link users configuration. Moving on to Exchange configuration. Under Recipients, you have the ability to enable or disable unified messaging, archiving, or Outlook web app. Under Organization, you have the ability to control presence and calendar sharing, as well as the ability to install apps within the Outlook web application. The Mobile tab gives you the ability to configure the mobile devices which have access. Here, you will have the ability to set up quarantine devices, device access rules, and the mailbox policies. All of it is pretty straightforward, and there shouldn't be any issues for anybody who's even remotely familiar with mobile devices. And that's it. User and device management within Office 365. Thanks for listening.